Today on the Topping Show, Bud Light Union approves strike, Vivek on voting integrity goes viral, U.S. Steel sold to Nippon Steel after being in business for 122 years, Apple halts watch sales after losing a patent case, and Quaker Oats recall is now up to 90 products. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's a joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of December. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have U.S. Steel sold to Japan's Nippon Steel for $14.9 billion, which is quite a pretty penny. Or in this case, since modern pennies are 99.99% zinc, therefore useless and trash, we should say a pretty vintage penny from 1944, a very rare occurrence where the U.S. actually used steel to make pennies, which is a very rarity. Fun currency fact, not so much as a business fact, but it's the only type of U.S. currency that is attracted to a magnet, is the vintage wheat penny from, I believe, 1944, when there's a copper shortage because we used it for the war, and we had more steel to use. So, fun fact, if you ever find a little wheat penny, might be worth keeping. Now, again, this is still subject to regulators, but so, again, it might take a couple months to close in terms of the actual official sale going through. But again, this is fascinating because U.S. Steel, they've been around for quite some time, and they've had multiple offers throughout the past calendar year, and they've turned down every single one of them. So it's even more surprising that they actually did accept a final offer. Now, it looks like the deal comes from after they've had offers from Cleveland Cliffs, ArcelorMittal, and Nucor, all of them making offers to buy U.S. Steel earlier this calendar year. Now, the deal price comes in at $55 per share, and even more astonishing, that means they're paying a premium 142% to the August 11th, the last trading day before U.S. Cleveland unveiled a $35 per share cash and stock bid for U.S. Steel. It is still a bet that the U.S. Steel will benefit from spending and tax incentives under the current infrastructure bill. Now, it looks like Cleveland Cliffs' pursuit to prompted U.S. Steel to launch a sale process 4 months ago. In a meeting of its board of directors on Sunday, U.S. Steel deemed Nippon's offer superior to Cleveland Cliffs, which had raised the bid to the high of $40 per share range. People familiar with the matter said. Nucor, the largest U.S. steel maker, offered to acquire U.S. Steel in a partnership with another company, another source said, but it did not go through. It looks like ArcelorMittal also pursued U.S. Steel, according to Reuters. Nippon and ArcelorMittal owned a plant in Alabama that produces steel sheets by processing semi-finished products or slabs procured from local and overseas suppliers. They are also investing about $1 billion in an electric arc furnace. Now, the acquisition of U.S. Steel will help Nippon, the world's fourth largest steel maker, move forward 100 million metric tons of global crude steel capacity, which significantly expands production in the United States, where steel prices are expected to rise as automakers ramp up production following their recent deals with labor unions to end the strikes. Although, let's be honest, how much steel is really left in a car these days, as they seem to be made more and more disposable. Can't help but notice, the cars back in the 70s, 80s, where they're giant metal monstrosities, they're pretty darn near bulletproof. As opposed to, in that 70s show, they could actually sit on the hood of the vehicle and not damage it. Unfortunately, if you try to do that with a 2001 Honda Accord, you will actually dent the hood, and you get an awkward conversation with your parents explaining that cars are not made that way anymore. That may or may not have happened to me. Now, looks like Nippon is paying the equivalent of 7.3 times the U.S. Steel's 12-month earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation and amortization, also known as EBITDA, which is insane. 7.3 times? That's almost akin to a tech company in terms of the valuation. Now, it looks like the median in the steelmaking industry is 7 times. Some analysts say that U.S. Steel is worth less, given that its $744 million takeover of the Big Steel River Mill in Arkansas in 2021 has yet to pay off in profitability. So it'll be interesting to see Now, it looks like some of the unions are opposed to it because they're worried that the overseas owner might kick down the curb and actually make the companies more profitable and perhaps get rid of some of those ineptitudes. And I still can't. It's still astonishing that such an old legacy company is no longer with us. Well, they're now foreign owned, although I guess it shouldn't be too surprising as more and more businesses are bought up by foreign entities. U.S. Steel was actually founded in 1901 by some of the largest business magnates, including Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and Charles Schwab, and became intertwined in the United States industrial recovery following the Great Depression and after World War II. So perhaps the biggest acquisition in steel history. It'll be interesting to see, is there more and more consolidation? Excuse me. I guess there's some cough going around. But nevertheless, perseverance is key. Power through. And it'll be interesting to see, is there more consolidation in the industry? Or it's one of those things where I don't know if you really see that many startups because the initial investment to start a steel company is so overwhelming. We just noted a couple of minutes ago how one of these new steel furnaces or electromagnetic furnaces is $1 billion. I mean, there's a huge upfront investment, so I suspect we'll probably see more market consolidation throughout the years, but as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of December, so if you can click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback and let me know how I can improve the show. Letting me know I need to enunciate my words more, slow down my speech pace. Those things I am actively working on. I appreciate you pointing them out, so I know it's a continuing thing I need to improve on. Also, and lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.